Hi guys, Vechs here. This is going to be a short and sweet tutorial zone video for Super Hostile Dalania with the Super Hostile mod pack. So here's the main menu of the mod pack, and you can play with vanilla Minecraft, and that's still pretty fun, but I prefer the mod pack. It's the way it was meant to be played. So we'll go ahead and start off. Welcome to Super Hostile Dalania by Vechs. You start off in the map lobby. The map lobby is just world spawn. So you are the Victory Monument. I'm not going to read all of this, because I want this video to be short and sweet and punchy, but it basically is an introduction of the map. And in Super Hostile Dalania is the system of class hats. There's 5 classes: Fighter, Barbarian, Paladin, Cleric, Ranger. And to get your class hat on your head, you hold a wood item in your offhand at dawn or dusk. And based on how many wools you found, you'll get a more powerful version of the class hat. Got it? Good. Alright, cool. So yeah. You need a server. There's a link to servers. That's an affiliate link, so it directly supports me if you like my map provided for free. And a huge shout out to my patrons. Without you guys, I wouldn't have the time. All right, so the tutorial zone for Super Hostile Dalania is this old man's fort, and I'm not going to read every single tutorial message because I can just tell you what they would want you to know. So starting off, we have this meditation spot, and of the 5 classes, that's going to be Fighter, Paladin, Barbarian, Cleric, and Ranger. I guess I'll just do Fighter, and we'll be basic, very basic. So now we have a Fighter class hat on our head, and as we find more wool, we will get higher ranks. It goes from Fighter 1 to Fighter 5. 5 is the highest tier. So Fighter is a well-balanced damage dealer and off-tank. They have a buff aura of haste to start off with, and that gets bigger as they level up. Yes, the birds have opinions. Fighter is probably the best in the game at using slow two-handed weapons that deal lots of damage in one big swing because they have haste and plus percentage attack damage. Let's look at Paladins next. So Paladins have thorns, and the more levels you get in Paladin, the more thorns you get. They also get a buff aura of strength, which is a flat +3 to damage, which means the faster weapon you pick, the more DPS you'll get out of the Paladin because of the flat +3. Paladins favor fast swinging one-handed weapons. And let's check out the Barbarian. The Barbarian has a resistance aura. These classes, they get more advanced features as they level up. In the map folder, there's a class guide, which will show you the exact numbers and effects of all the class levels. And also there's a bonus folder with a big, awesome-looking map to refer to so that you don't get lost. However, there's also an in-game map, so we'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so Barbarian gets resistance. They have the most raw health, and they have a resistance aura. They're a pretty good tank, so your best frontliners are probably going to be the Barbarian and Paladin, Fighter in somewhere in the middle, and you want to probably keep your Ranger and Cleric in the back line. Speaking of which, let's get on to the Cleric. The Cleric has a buff aura of regeneration, and the higher ranks of Cleric, you're going to get better regen and longer lasting regen. Later on, they'll also get fire resistance aura. They don't really get any damage to speak of. They're a dedicated support class. And the Ranger. So the Ranger is probably the most complicated. It also gets a strength aura like the Paladin does, which makes them typically favor faster swinging weapons, but you don't have to. I still prefer using Halberds myself, the two-handed weapons. But in any case, the Ranger gets scavenge points every time they kill something. And at dawn and at dusk, they turn in their scavenge points and roll on a bunch of random tables to get loot. All right, so those are the classes. I'm just going to go with Fighter, bog simple. And I don't really think I need to do too much else here, so let's move on. So coming into the tutorial for it, you'll find some resources, and immediately, using the mod pack, these blocks here, they'll tell you about different tips and stuff, but again, I can just show you. So right off the bat, you're probably going to want to make yourself some rock armor. It's not very good, but it is way better than no armor at all. There's also a version of wood, but in my experience, most people just skip. They skip the wood armor. It's not even worth your time when you could just dig a bit and get the rock armor. I'm also going to leave these books here. These are detailed guides to some of the mods in the mod pack, but those are beyond the purview of this basic tutorial video. I'm also going to ditch these other tools here. I will just need a sword and an axe. And I guess I'll demonstrate these as well real quick. So the mod pack has some custom recipes that I've added. You can take raw chicken and pluck it clean of feathers. You can take wood, thin sheets of wood, which are pressure plates, and press the pressure plates into paper. So it's an alternate way to get paper without relying specifically on finding sugarcane. I don't believe it's as efficient though, but it's if you need a little bit of paper for something, you know, it's better than just having no paper whatsoever. You can also take the andesite and make it back into cobble, which I'm going to do right off the bat. And let's see, what else can we do? You can convert cobble into gravel, and you can convert gravel into flint without having to put it down and whack it with a wood shovel. So I'm going to go ahead and make my favorite weapon in the mod pack, and that is 3 sticks and a piece of string makes a pole, and then that formation makes a halberd. I love the halberds. It's a personal preference. There's a lot of good weapons. There's a warhammer. The warhammers are pretty nice because they have armor piercing, so if you run into custom monsters that have lots of armor and you still want to use a one-hander that hits reasonably hard, the warhammer is pretty good. Also of note are the daggers, just because of their insane swing speed. You can basically spam click with these. They're short range though, so you got to get up in the enemy's business. So we've got our rock armor and we've got our stone halberd. I'm going to keep this sword on me for breaking cobweb, and that's literally it. We've got some gold, which I don't necessarily need right away. Gold is the currency you'll run into in Dalania. Lowercase g is nuggets. Uppercase G is ingot. And then a double uppercase G is a gold block. All right, let's head upstairs. And I don't need this in my offhand anymore. And there's a chest over here. And it basically says, if you're playing modded, make an atlas and a backpack. Master using these 2 items before you leave. They're very helpful. And I've already even arranged the items in the recipe formation. We're going to go ahead and make those real quick. And you can claim a bed. This map is made to be played with a small party of co-op people. I'll be hosting a server, like the old Super Hostile Online for it as well. So there's going to be an official server up that you can join. Yeah, I can go ahead and sleep, I suppose. Go ahead and do that. Alright, cool. If I was playing this with other people, I suppose I'd write my name on the sign. But let's go ahead and grab some water, grab some bread. I don't really need this other stuff, so we'll leave it there for now. Let's go back down to the crafting table. Alright. Whoops, don't meet the requirements to use the halberd yet. So we can't quite use that. But we can go to the skills here, press E, click that. When you start the game, you'll be given 10 levels to quickly specialize into something. I recommend putting it into attack. That'll get you to most of the stone, iron stuff you'd find. So the way these skills work as far as weapons go is for every 2 damage the weapon deals, it requires 1 point in the attack skill to use. So this stone halberd that deals 10 damage, it requires 5 attack. There's some very advanced items, like the Fire Dragonsteel Halberd. It has an attack of 60 that requires an attack skill of 30 to use, as an example. That is an in-game item. That is probably one of the best weapons in the game. There's probably some room for debate about strategy, but again, I'm a halberd fanboy. I like them. So, backpack. That recipe, and there you go. You press B to open it while you have it equipped. You throw it on the ground with right-click, and you sneak and break it to equip it. So you make your backpack, throw it on the ground, sneak, break it, and that's equipped. And you can tell it's equipped because if you press F5 and look at your back, it's on your back. Oh, by the way, your last equipped item, it shows up on your back. If I switch back and forth between the halberd and the pick, you can see them switching. It's a nice little... the animations modded too. They look great. I love the polearm swinging animations here. Looks really good. All right, so if you press B, you have your backpack. And you can throw all your stuff in your backpack. You just shift-click in there. You can press R to organize your inventory. That organizes the inventory, see? And you press Z here to organize the backpack. It's great. I love it. And now the atlas. This is another core item that you're going to want to make. And you look at it, And so it's not really filled in yet because we haven't really been anywhere. But if you have your atlas on your hotbar, so if you stick it at the end of your hotbar there, and walk around, it'll give you a mini map in the top right of your screen. If you don't like that, you can take the atlas and put it in your inventory, and the mini map goes away. You can put your atlas in your hotbar and right-click on it and bring up this big map, and this is where you could leave a marker. For example, I don't know, Old Man's Fort. Amazing. And now we've got a marker on the map. There's other stuff you can do with atlases, but again, this is just a basic tutorial to get you started. And let's see here. Let's go downstairs into the basement. I believe there's a water boiler here. And wouldn't you know it, it's already had water in it. And we've already got some purified water to drink. So if you've noticed, I've got a water bar. I'm going to drink some purified water. Amazing. This is why the backpack is so useful. It will hold a lot of your supplies and stuff. And before this video is done, I'll go over maybe an ideal backpack setup, but we'll just grab plenty of water. All right, so we've got our mini-map, we've got our backpack, we've got our rock armor, we've got a decent weapon that we like. Let's go do something with it all. And we've got our class hat. All right, so on this tutorial island, there is a path that leads up this way. And we're just going to go walk up the path. There's a dungeon. It's a small introductory dungeon to get your feet wet, and we're just going to go beat it real quick. I should be fine. I'm not on peaceful, am I? No, I'm on normal. That's Chameleon. They try to match the color of the ground that they're on. They're pretty cute. Do I need the mini-map in the corner of my screen right now? Oh, before I go further, let me press H. So I'm going to skip this tutorial. So here's all the, if it's so many hearts, it switches to a numerical display. So right off the bat, headshots do not kill you. If your head gets down to 0, you'll be hit with debuffs. If any of these gets down to 0, you get debuffed. Sometimes pretty bad if it gets bad enough. The only way you die is if your body drops to 0. If you've played Fallout New Vegas, it is almost an identical system. Limb damage doesn't kill you, but it debuffs you, and you're going to want to patch yourself up. You can heal just by eating food. There is natural health regen, like in vanilla Minecraft, but you shouldn't feel like you're relearning the entire game. It should feel like the same game, but with lots of expansion content added to it. For the record, you can punch trees just fine. There's no kind of silliness about that. For those who play a generated world and don't play on Super Hostile Dalania, there's a lot of great content waiting for you in just the mod pack. This right here that's dropped from the tree leaves is a silkworm egg. Real quickly, let me make a little pin for the dude. Ideally, you would want to put a hopper down at the bottom of this, because that silkworm will produce cocoons the same way that eggs produce chicken. The same way that chickens produce eggs. So periodically, he'll get big and fat, and he'll poop out a little cocoon, and you can process the cocoon with either a spindle or your bare hands at a loss of efficiency into silk or string. So this is how you get string for the handles and the poles and stuff that I showed earlier. You know, it takes string, it takes silk or string. That's an easy source of a little bit of string to get you started without having to have sheep. Although sheep will get you stuff, you know, faster. We don't really need all that. Let's continue. What else? So, backpack is B. Yeah, I covered that. We'll need to make a bedroll. Yes, we'll do that in a little bit. I guess I'll take a detour. The mod pack adds a lot of mods that specifically add more monsters to the game. Some of them are adorable and cute. Some of them are incredibly deadly and will kill the ever-living crap out of you. So, just a heads up. I'm killing the squid so I can get some of the squid meat for more food and for some XP. I want the XP because after I got my attack enough to use my weapon of choice, a stone halberd, I'm going to start putting points into defense because I imagine maybe I'll find some armor in a treasure chest in a dungeon, and I'll want to be able to use that. We're just going to follow the path up here and go into this dungeon and whoop it. Now this thing right here I got is a heart crystal. shard. You get 9 of those shards, combine them, you'll get a heart container, and you'll eat the container, spend some XP. The exact amount of XP for the heart container is still being worked out. I think I've been talking to playtesters, we're probably going to settle on about 10 to 15 levels worth of XP to eat a heart container. And that'll make you gain a heart. If you look at my health bar, you'll see the hearts are gold colored. We've got the scaling health mod. You see that 3x? It says 3x, and then it's got my health bar. That means I've got 3 rows of hearts, but they've compacted nicely to not run up the screen like they would do in vanilla Minecraft. So not too much is spawning in the daytime. I didn't even see that much in the way of passive monsters. I'll give you a little secret. The area around the tutorial area is littered with what I call honeypots. They're basically caves that are closed off from the world, and their only purpose is for hostile monsters to spawn in those caves, and so they don't spawn in places you have to deal with. They're a way to divert spawns away from the player to make the area easier. The more honeypots you have around an area, basically the easier it gets. So let's explore the dungeon. I left my shovel. Is there any hidden chest around here? I bet there's one back here. Nope. Really? Okay. Sadness. I left my shovel behind. I feel a little silly now. I could if I use some wood there to make one if I really wanted to. So there's a source of string as well. The webs in this old dungeon. If you needed a little bit of string. I didn't even bring a torch with me. Well, that's okay. That's a baby spider. Makes me wonder if mommy's around. We got a chest. Let's break this. What do we got? Sort. Amazing. Amazing. I'm just going to take everything. Well, almost everything. Actually, I just realized I have an idea. If I'm not mistaken, doesn't this make sea lantern? Oh, it's a plus shape. Well, there's our light. There we go. It seems like such a waste, doesn't it? Oh well, whatever. I just want to clear the dungeon for a tutorial video. If I was playing, I wouldn't be haphazard, I guess, about my supply situation. So this guy's got custom mods on him, but thankfully we're a fighter and we have plus 30% more attack damage. Okay, so these baby spiders have lost their mom. That's why they're wandering around in confusion like that. It's actually really sad. There's a haunted tool. I'll kill him too. I've gotten really lucky, or unlucky as the case may be, as far as monster spawning. Normally this place is a little more lively. Well, that's okay. So this obsidian block here, it's got a command block under it. And this is what's called a point of interest. Super Hostile Dalania has 16 wool dungeons. And a bunch of other points of interest. I think at the time I made this video, there's 25. So you have found a point of interest. You had many experiences on your journey here. So this is an old fleecy box. It's an old place of power. And the basic overview of the lore is that primitive people sensed the places of power in the world, and they built little shrines called fleecy boxes where they would put wool in as an offering. And then people in, like, maybe say the Middle Ages came in and made an extreme sport of raiding these little shrines for the wool as just a pastime, something to do. And then later people, my generation in this narrative, they came in and are like, no, we shouldn't just raid the wool. We should meditate at these places and absorb the power of the place into us to, in this case, get levels of class hats. So that's the basic gist of the narrative. So I got 30 levels to spend, and I'm kind of shocked that I didn't run into more enemies. Last time I playtested this, I came in here and it was a little crowded. So let's put points into, and I didn't find the chest. Well, that's okay. There's some chests hidden in there, And I guess it's okay if I don't find them on camera. That'll be your job when you come in here. So let's get our defense up and our mining up. I strongly suggest at least 5 mining at the start, although higher is better. And more attack, in case I find better weapons. I wonder if I can one-shot this guy, if I get the crit right. Let's jump and get the crit right. Bop! Oh, almost. Almost. In that case, just slam from afar. Normal basic Minecraft enemies, even for a person with a rank 1 class hat, shouldn't be much trouble at all. It's on the later enemy. Ah, there's a piece of armor. Yes. We got that from the skeleton that had the special mods and all the glowy effects coming off of him. He dropped a piece of... Whoa! Whoa! Hello! That is a Dullahan. A Dullahan is a spirit in a armor, basically a ghost, and the Dullahan carries its head around in its offhand. I believe the headless horseman of legend is an example of a Dullahan, I think. But I want some XP, and I want some loot, so I'm going to fight all of these monsters. That is a Harpy. And the annoying thing about the Harpy is when they get low, they'll run away, and I think they get help, and they might heal up too. The Dullahan is a lot more durable, but as long as I use my Halberd to keep some space between us, one-on-one, we're good to go. But if a crowd of them gets at you... I was playtesting the Ibble of Hotlands, which is a jungle, and I almost died, actually. I think I was a level 1 ranger. Now I've got to not let this guy blow up. That could really hurt. Okay, got him. The support creeper follows people around and buffs them. There's the Harpy that ran away. She's still in... Oh god, she's going to lead me on a wild goose chase into more monsters. I'm not going to take the bait. Not taking your bait. Let's throw the bread back in here just to clear my inventory out. I want some of the clean water to drink. And once we get back to base, I'll go over some of my drops and cover setting up a decent backpack for travel. And one more water. I should have just grabbed all of them at once. Feel silly for not. Early on, one of the issues you'll run into is your weapon's durability just isn't going to keep up with the amount of fighting that you do. There's a special skeleton. Some of the more annoying traits have... What the heck? Did you shoot the Dullahan? Oh, it's a trumpet skeleton. Oh, there's a Minotaur girl. Ah! Ah! Okay. Alright, cool. And if you're wondering, there are dragons, sea serpents, and other stuff like that. We are using the Ice and Fire mod. The dragon's sight range is toned down a little bit, so they aren't just going to blow you up from afar. Right. You have to put points in farming just to eat the carrot. The Banshee has, I believe, AI very similar to a Vechs. Like, they will wait for an opening and then lunge at you. I also think they'll shoot projectiles at you. Not sure. Let's just clean these zombies up real quick. Let's see if I can crit, 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 crit. There we go. Banshee's got a little more health on her. They'll also burn up in the daytime. This is why I like the Halberd. The Halberd has a longer reach than other melee weapons and lets you hit stuff that's like hovering up there. If you had a normal Minecraft sword, you'd just be jumping around like an idiot, swinging at the air and not being able to do anything to her. Alright, let's see. Let's grab the loot. Put the copper nuggets. Yeah, put all the precious metal in my backpack. The soulfire. Eat. Yeah. Food. Precious metal. Amazing. Alright, let's head back to the fort. I got enough loot to bother going over item sorting recommendations of what you should have with you. So that was really chill. It was a really chill experience. But like I said, there's a lot of closed off caves underground here to reduce the spawning around the tutorial island. This is supposed to be about as easy as this ever gets. That pig gets freedom. Okay, fair enough, pig. But yeah, this is about as easy as this map and mod pack ever gets. The mod pack, if you play this in a generated world, expect a harder experience because you're not going to have this generous tutorial for it, you know, hooking you up with all the basics right off the bat. Let's see, let's use this. I just need to dump all the crap out of my inventory. Okay, so for your backpack, for your journey, you're going to want a generous amount of water. So food, water, let's go ahead and get that cooking. Throw that in there. You're going to want feather to make arrows or bolts, depending on if you use a bow or crossbow. Precious metal, leather, paper, sugar. That all might be useful as well. And you're going to want to take probably cobblestone and some wood with you. Arrows as well. I would suggest 2 chests, some furnaces, and this, pay attention to this, 3 wool and a line, a sleeping bag. The sleeping bag lets you sleep without changing your spawn. So while you're out and around exploring and night starts to fall, you can go ahead and sleep to skip the night if you don't want to be interrupted by nighttime spawns. However, be warned that there's hostile monsters that'll spawn in daytime out of this mod pack. So just a heads up. Some biomes are more dangerous than others. The easier biomes, I believe, are plains, flower forest. More dangerous biomes are going to be swamp for sure. The mountains, dark forest. You'll get a lot of witches there. And I'm not talking about the Minecraft witches. I'm talking about the attractive ones that'll ride brooms and summon more monsters and throw potions at you from a long way off. Those witches. All right, so let's see. We got water. We got a sleeping bag. We have a furnace, some chests, building blocks, wood, throw the precious metal in there. The reason there's the furnace and the chest there, that is so that I can quickly grab these into my inventory and just throw down the chest and the furnaces, grab some wood, and make like a box and just throw down like a camp super fast. You want to keep all the nuggets because a lot of the monsters will drop iron nuggets, copper nuggets, gold nuggets, silver nuggets, etc. You want to be able to grab those and throw them in your pack and get them out your inventory. And I guess I'll ditch this other stuff. We can make paper out of wood if we absolutely need it. You can drink the rain. You can hold down shift and right click. If I was thirsty, I could drink that. You can also drink water out of the bodies of water, but it's not clean. It's a lot like eating rotten flesh. You'll get a green debuff on your water droplet bar. So that's it. That's a well-packed backpack. You got your stuff to make some more weapons out of, cobblestone. You got some building blocks, some wood. You got your base in a box with your bedroll, chest, furnace, building blocks. You got plenty of water, stacks of food. String is very important to make handles. Maybe I'd want to make another halberd or something as a spare, but most of my inventory space is free. I love the backpack. The backpack is so great. And you'll get more ways. This is later in the game, but there are things called packs. Now these will go in your backpack, and they're basically just bags to throw stuff in. They take research. They come from the Ancient Warfare mod. Basic backpack is you can get fairly quickly. Probably the hardest thing to get is maybe that first gold ingot. Maybe it's the leather actually, depending on what animals are around you. But for later in the game, storage solutions, very late game, medium and large packs here, you can hold so much stuff with these. Anyway, that is late game, and this is an early game tutorial of how to start. So, you geared up, got maybe a piece or 2 of armor. You got a decent weapon that's better than just your starting wood sword. You got your class hat. You got your backpack built. You got your map built so you can not get lost. You set your spawn here at the fort. Then after that, I mean, you can explore this island and get used to the mods. You can scroll through JEI. We tried to blacklist a lot of items that weren't useful. You know how usually if you use this thing, you get like 20 pages of all the different arrows with all the different potion effects. We blacklisted those. You can turn them on to see them again. So they're not permanently gone forever. You could chill here on the tutorial island and just scroll through this and look at all the new items and click on stuff to see. If you like one-handed weapons, you might want to check out the rapier. It does bonus damage to unarmored targets. 200% bonus damage, actually. Rapiers are pretty popular. I think sabers are fairly popular, too, with the one-handed crowd. Bonus damage when they have no chest armor. Let's see. I like halberds. I'm a halberd fan. I like the reach. Also great swords. They also have some reach, and they swing faster than the halberd does. Warhammers for when you go up against armored enemies. If you're using one-handed weapons, you can probably check out the warhammers or the rapiers or the sabers. maybe the long swords. And if you're using two-handers, well, there's the great axe as well. That is a class. If you're playing a barbarian, I if you're playing the barbarian, you almost have to use the big battle axe. It also doubles as an axe, so you can cut down trees with it, which is kind of cool, you know. It combines stuff and collapses your hotbar a bit. Let's get off the tutorial island. And one more time, there's a folder in the map folder called bonus material, and there's a map in there called Dalania 17af.png, I think. 17AF is 17 years after founding. It's not the other AF that you may have been thinking about. So, here's the end of the tutorial fort. These are vending machines. They will teleport you for a fee. That is 3 gold ingots. And there's 5 main cities. Each of the main city has like custom shops, custom vending machines. Each city has specialty loot is sold in the shops. If you like bows, Menka has probably one of the best in slot bows in the game. Maybe, arguably. There's other really good bows out there in the world that I know about. But it's very expensive, though. It's very expensive, so bring lots of gold. The other cities have awesome loot as well in specialty shops. Jinton is probably in the most peaceful area. It's also the cheapest. I'll just go to Dalan. Why not? And I didn't click on any of the lore boxes and stuff, but the old man has opinions, and he'll tell you about some of the lore and his opinions on each of the starting areas. But right now, we are on an island off of the mainland, and if you scroll up in the atlas, you can see we've crossed a lot of area. The entire Super Hostile Dalania map is 13,000 by 9,000. One of the capital cities of Menka could hold most of my old Super Hostile maps would just fit within the capital city of Menka, to give you an example. So yeah, this is Dalan City. The cities have a lot of the same types of buildings, but they, have different colors and different building materials. The cities will often have ATMs over there. Let me demonstrate this real quick. Actually, I don't have enough money. Yeah, here's a bank. I can demonstrate here. So you can come here to a bank. You'll find a bank in most major cities. Sirens Cove only has an ATM because Sirens Cove is a city of monster girls. Oh, I should demonstrate that real quick too. So I have no banked gold. I have no gold to withdraw. Let's go bank some. I've got 6 ingots on me, so we can't use this machine. If you have to use exact change. If you don't, these machines will eat your money. Caveat emptor, man. So deposit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we can check our banked gold. We have 6 gold ingots banked, and we can withdraw the money. And we have no more gold, so we only get 6 back. So that's the bank. It'll probably be most useful for servers running this map. And there's a shop over here. Right there, that building is a shop. That'll take your money. There's a town center. There's stuff here. There's a each starting city has a meditation spot. Normally, if I just sat here with this axe in my offhand, the wood axe, got to be wood by the way, and I did time set day, I will become a barbarian. So now I'm a barbarian. If you didn't want to wait for the day, for the dawn or the dusk event to come by, you can put your wood weapon or item in your offhand and come to a meditation spot and then just badam, boom, there you go. No waiting. So you can go back to the major cities to switch your class. Good to know if you die, by the way, and lose your class out. So here's an ATM. It is basically a mini bank. It only offers the 10 gold interactions. And I'm going to go in here and be sad because I'm not going to have enough money for anything. Oh, I'm thirsty. Hold on. Yeah, you can drink the rain. Hello? I'm not here to rob you. I'm just carrying a big weapon around. So, vending machines, there's loot to buy, mostly armor, weapons, the stuff adventurers would like. Here's the Dalanian specialty item. It's a heavy shield. It's awesome. It costs 60 gold ingots, so yeah, I don't have enough. I'm poor. But I'm a new adventurer just off the tutorial island. So you might be wondering where to go next, what to do. It's a big wide world. You have an atlas. You shouldn't get lost too bad. You also have the big map that's in the base folder. I highly encourage you to check that out. But I will give you a little hint about where the White Wool dungeon is, if you want to get started. The hint in the tutorial dungeon tells you that it is to the northwest. So you would probably want to come to the coastline here, and you glance at Dalan Citadel, wish them good luck on their castle construction. To the north is the northeastern Deadlands, a very scary area. The Dalanians destroyed their bridge. That's how they dealt with the problems. And they put the citadel here at the site. But you'd probably get on a boat and head this way. The lore by the teleporter for each capital city gives you some hints about the locations of some of the dungeons nearby. And the easiest thing to do would be to follow the Andam River north into its headlands. The headlands is an area of where a river forms from smaller tributaries. Boating up here would be fairly fast, or you could just follow the bank of the river and not get lost. And I think this should look fairly good on the atlas, yeah. I didn't explore down here, but the water, the ocean continues that way. But the Andam River continues north into the Andam Mountains, and then it's just a little bit to the west, and you'll find the Whitewall Dungeon. On our left, and you can see this on the big world map that's in the bonus material folder, is a partially ruined town called Lucre Haven. Half the town lies in ruins, while the other half of the town is still hanging on in hopes of better times. But our business is not in Lucre Haven, it is at the Draconic Ossuary, the Whitewall Dungeon. And if you don't want to fight monsters, if you're in a hurry, when it starts to become night, you literally just open your backpack, grab your bedroll, stick it on the ground, and sleep. This obelisk is marked on the world map as well. If you look closely, you'll see it, and you can use it as a landmark to navigate with. But the map and mod pack are heavily inspired by tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons. This continent is based on an RPG that I originally made way back in the day when I was like the early days of me being in college. That RPG is called A Gathering of Heroes, and it is packed in the bonus materials folder. You can unzip it and play it. I provide no tech support. It's provided as is. You can play it with a wired 360 controller. It's not finished, but there is actually a lot of gameplay there. It'll just kind of end abruptly. But if you're curious about some inspirations of stuff, even the world map is kind of there. So you hit the headlands of the river in the mountains, and then you just basically follow the mountains a short bit west, and here we are. This is the start of the Whitewall Dungeon. It continues up into the mountains here. And it looks like a mining operation. That is a troll. Heads up. We come to a place called Rotgut & Co. Mining Camp. Because it's the first dungeon, I was trying to be generous. Just outside the dungeon, there's beds pre-placed here to set your spawn. I believe there's some supplies. It's kind of designed to ease you into the map. But you'll find these things called delves, where this Rotgut & Co. mining company was mining. And they kept looking for the dungeon until eventually they found it. So for all the 16 wool dungeons, right outside the dungeon, you'll find one of these. It will say something to the extent of, here Rotgut & Co. uncovered the Draconic Ossuary on the 5th day of the 7th month of the year of Jarl Timmins. This last person named, these names are taken from my 16 top patrons of all time. They've been immortalized in the signs for the dungeons. But that is how to get to the first dungeon in the map. It's a little big. And that's the end of the tutorial. This is just a basic overview of how to get started. We've gone over the atlas here, the backpack, how to sort your backpack out, make sure you bring plenty of supplies with you. We've gone over the skill system, how to get skills. I believe these are mostly self-explanatory. We've gone over weapon recommendations. Just a heads up, if you want a ranged weapon, the boomerangs are something you can check out. The wooden boomerang is literally just that. It is very easy to get, and you have a ranged option. It's not the best in the world, but, you know, what do you expect? There's also crossbows. I'm a big fan of the crossbows. They shoot way slower, but they do some chunky damage. The bolts for them, though, are more expensive because they take iron. So crossbows are a thing. And if you find a bauble, your bauble slot is this button right here. Rings, jewelry, and other stuff from the modded stuff goes in here. In vanilla, there's a bunch of charms that are vanilla, and they work by putting them in your offhand slot right here. Anyway, that's how to get started with Super Hostile Dalania. using the Super Hostile mod pack. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in Dalania. Until next time, as always, take it easy.